The decision was labeled a disaster the moment it happened. When the ink dried on a massive 3-year, $34 million deal, the critics didn't just whisper, they shouted. Why commit that kind of serious capital to a wide receiver who hadn't even cracked the 200-yard mark in the team's scheme? It looked like a front office hallucination, a reckless overpay that would haunt the franchise for years to come. But inside the quiet, high-stakes corridors of the facility, the narrative was completely different. The decision-makers knew something the public didn't, and now, as the summer heat rises and training camp looms, that gamble is looking less like a mistake and more like the catalyst for an offensive revolution. Before we dive into how this gamble is paying off, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest, most intense NFL updates on the planet. There was a moment, a flash of brilliance during the quiet intensity of spring workouts, where the entire trajectory of the season shifted. A single play in a controlled practice environment, caught on camera by an eagle-eyed observer, told the story of a connection finally clicking into place. It was a perfectly placed ball, a fluid route, and a display of chemistry that had been entirely absent just months prior. That connection is between the quarterback and the man they call the Rocket, Rashid Shaheed. But what is it about this specific partnership that has the internal mood turning from skepticism to genuine excitement? And more importantly, why is the offensive blueprint being completely overhauled to maximize one specific player's speed? We'll get to the tactical brilliance behind this soon, but first we need to address the elephant in the room regarding the team's depth chart. When Shaheed arrived mid-season last year, he wasn't just learning a new playbook. He was trying to build a career-defining connection with a quarterback while everyone else was already in mid-season form. It was like trying to fix the engine of a plane while it was already at 30,000 feet. The results were messy. There were flashes, yes, moments where you saw the raw athleticism that made him a league-wide threat. But the consistency just wasn't there. The timing was slightly off, the chemistry was fragile, and the frustration was mounting. But look at the reality of the situation. This isn't the same team as last year. The offseason isn't just a break. It's an incubator for growth. The time spent in the weight room, the hours in the film room, and the countless repetitions in OTAs and minicamps have bridged the gap that defined last year's struggles. The quarterback, who quietly put together a campaign that has many now whispering top 10 potential, is finally in sync with his deep threat weapon. It's not just about speed anymore. It's about timing, trust, and the evolution of the passing attack. Think about it. How many times have we seen a fast receiver fail simply because he was relegated to a go-route-only role? That is the trap that ruins careers. But that is not what is happening here. Who do you think is actually going to lead this team in total receiving impact by the time the snow starts falling in December? Drop a name in the comments below, and let's see if your analysis matches the reality on the field. The shift in the offense is tangible. There is a new, sophisticated layer being added to the scheme. More motion, more shifts, more ways to create confusion for defensive backfields that are already terrified of this team's primary weapon. When a team has an elite, league-best receiver, the defense does exactly what you'd expect. They bracket him. They shift their zones. They double-team him with their best assets. They tilt the entire field to keep him contained. And that is exactly where the trap for the defense lies. By focusing every ounce of their energy on containing the league's top receiver, they are inevitably creating single-coverage scenarios elsewhere. They are creating situations where someone with elite, track-star speed like Shaheed is going to be matched up against second- or even third-string cornerbacks. If you are a defensive coordinator, you have to choose your poison. Do you allow the superstar to beat you, or do you leave the field wide open for the speedster to run rampant? The reports coming out of the facility suggest that the offensive coordinator has been obsessively building the game plan to punish teams for making that exact choice. It's a complete departure from the focus on a single solitary star. Instead, it's about a more complete, more dangerous unit that forces the defense to be honest on every single snap. But here is where things get truly controversial. As the new guard rises, the old guard appears to be fading. The decline of a veteran is one of the most painful things to watch in professional football. It doesn't happen with a bang. It happens with a slow, agonizing fade. You watch a player who once commanded double teams and dictated the flow of the game, and you realize the explosiveness has been replaced by experience, and the speed has been replaced by caution. There is a growing sentiment that a certain veteran wide receiver, once considered the heartbeat of the offense, has officially moved down the pecking order. Some argue he is the third option. Others, perhaps more harshly, suggest he is trending toward being the fourth. It is a reality that is difficult to swallow, especially for those who watched his rise to prominence. But Father Time is undefeated, and he doesn't care about past accolades or hometown hero stories. When a team's identity shifts, the players who defined the previous era often find themselves in roles that no longer match their self-perception. But for the team, this isn't about nostalgia. It's about survival and competition. If the young, fast, and hungry players can deliver more value than the fading veterans, the team will make that shift without hesitation. So why should we expect a career year for a guy like Shahid? It comes down to three factors: chemistry, opportunity, and evolution. The chemistry with the quarterback is no longer a hope and pray scenario. It's a hardened, tested connection built through an entire offseason. The opportunity is coming from the defensive focus on other elite targets, and the evolution is in the player himself. He is no longer just a big play threat, a special teams weapon who happens to play wideout. He is becoming a polished route runner, a possession receiver who can move the chains on third down just as effectively as he can burn a secondary for a 60-yard touchdown. This isn't just theory. We've seen the glimpses in the spring. We've heard the whispers from the sidelines when the coaching staff sees a play develop and knows exactly what's coming before the ball is even snapped. The confidence in the building is high, and the expectation is clear. This offense is about to take a massive leap forward. As we look toward the start of training camp, the anticipation is palpable. The questions that haunted the team last year are being answered one by one. The financial decisions that looked like head-scratchers in March are starting to look like stroke-of-genius moves in July. But the NFL is a game of prove it. You can look great in shorts, you can dominate the training camp drills, and you can build all the chemistry you want, but the real test happens when the lights come on, the pads are popping, and the games actually count. Will this team truly unlock the full potential of its wide receiver core? Will the shift to a more dynamic, motion-heavy offense finally push this team over the edge and into the upper echelon of the league? Or will the reliance on speed be silenced by teams that play disciplined, mistake-free defense? The story of the coming season is being written right now in these practices. Every rep matters, every catch matters, and every connection between quarterback and receiver is a chapter in a larger narrative of redemption and growth. It's a high-stakes environment where one wrong move can bench a player, and one big play can turn an underdog into a household name. We are standing on the edge of a new era for this offense, and the transformation of the wide receiver room is the engine driving it. Whether it results in a championship or another building year, one thing is certain: it will be anything but boring. The pieces are in place. The quarterback is ready. The wide receivers are hungry. Now, the only thing left to do is play the game. Keep your eyes on the field, keep track of the shifts in the depth chart, and remember that in the NFL, the narrative changes every single Sunday. What we think we know today could be blown out of the water by the time the first kickoff happens. And that is exactly why we watch. That is the beauty and the brutality of the game. Are you ready for what comes next? Because the season is closer than you think, and the fire in the locker room is just beginning to burn.